guys, it's Lindsay. Welcome back to The Wandering Reader and welcome to another weekly reads video. So today I'm going to be updating you on all the things that I have read in the last week and everything that I am in the middle of or planning to read in the next week. Before I get into that, some of you may have noticed that I have stopped uploading for Vlogmas. So I decided on Wednesday of last week that it wasn't really working for me. I had a couple of evenings where I was going out, and to film and edit and upload for the next day was going to be really difficult to fit in that time, and I was just feeling really stressed about it, and I shouldn't feel stressed about it basically. So I decided that it wasn't for me and that I was going to give up on it and basically go back to doing my normal 2 videos or maybe 3 videos a week in December. So hopefully you're not too disappointed about that. Yeah, it just wasn't working for me, so yeah, I just have to do what I have to do basically. So let's get into the books that I have been reading. I finished 2 books this week and I have ticked 2 books off of my holiday book bingo TBR, which I'm really pleased about. The first of those is Miracle on Fifth Avenue by Sarah Morgan. This is the 3rd book in the From Manhattan with Love series, and this one follows Eva, who is the 3rd friend in the friendship group that we've been following. So it's her, Frankie and Paige. And at the beginning of the book she goes to this crime writer's flat. She's been asked by his grandmother to go and decorate, it's not called a flat, it's an apartment in New York, to decorate the apartment for Christmas and to stock up his freezer. And he's supposed to be in Vermont, I think, on some sort of a writing retreat, you know, or he's there to kind of make sure that he's writing his next book. So she's supposed to be in the apartment on her own, but of course she turns up and he's there, and so yeah, things kind of go from there. Yeah, this was just as cute and fluffy as her other books are. What I particularly liked about this one is that he was outside of their kind of friendship group, because Paige and Frankie both kind of got together with people that we already knew in the books, and this was somebody completely different. So that was really nice from that perspective. Also got a lot of commentary in here on the writing process, and Sarah Morgan talked at the end in her acknowledgements about who she kind of who she had like consulted in her writing of the book, and it was a crime writer called, hold on, Graham Cameron, who I'd never heard of before, but yeah, she'd consulted him, and so yeah, there was a lot of stuff in here about what the writing process is like and stuff like that, which was really interesting. And it was just lovely. It was a great Sarah Morgan read, but set at Christmas, which made it even lovelier, and I gave this one 4 stars. I also finished my 2nd book for the holiday book bingo, which was Christmas Ever After by Sarah Morgan. This is the 3rd book in the Puffin Island series. It's the end of the series, it's the last book in the series, and this one follows Skye. And at the beginning of the book she's going out with this right douche called Richard, and she is going to, or she's at her gallery kind of display of all of her latest collection. She's an artist in London. Richard turns up and he publicly proposes to her, and then she kind of calls him into the back because she doesn't want him to publicly propose to her. I don't think she wants him to propose to her at all. And she ends up having some sort of an accident in the back, and then Alec is there, and Alec is somebody who's in the friendship circle of her 2 best friends, Emily and Brittany. So he's a friend of Ryan, who's Emily's other half, but they argue an awful lot when they're on Puffin Island and stuff like that. They don't get on at all, but he kind of is there to kind of see what's going on and things like that, and he takes her back to his hotel room and calls the doctor and things like that, and then the story goes from there. I really like that part of this was set in London and in the Cotswolds, so we got to see a little bit of Britain in here, which was really lovely to see. And then they went back to Puffin Island, and we got to have see Christmas on Puffin Island, which was really sweet. Yeah, Alec in this one is divorced, and he didn't have a particularly great marriage with his first wife, so he's a bit wary of new relationships and things like that. And so they've both got to kind of overcome that sort of thing. Again, it was really cute. I loved it. Read it in about 2 days. Yeah, again, 4 stars. A little sip of my hot chocolate. I've made hot chocolate in my Minnie Mouse mug, which I absolutely love. So it's really pleased with the 2 books that I finished this week, and then I've moved on to my 3rd book for Holiday Book Bingo, which is Sleigh Bells in the Snow, again by Sarah Morgan. This is the 1st book in the O'Neill Brothers series, and I've only read about 25 pages of it so far, so I just started it last night and I've read a tiny little bit this morning. I've not really got into it much. But this seems to be focusing around a woman called Kayla who works for a PR company, and a man called Jackson whose family owns a ski resort called Snow Crystal, and they're in trouble with the ski resort. Like their business is going down the pan basically, and what I'm gathering is that he's going to call her in to kind of do a bit of PR for them and stuff like that, and she's going to come and stay at the resort and things like that. And I think there's going to be a relationship between the 2 of them. So yeah, this is one of Sarah Morgan's earlier books. So this was published in 2013, so it would be interesting to see what her writing style's like. I think the first Puffin Island one was published in 2013 as well. So yeah, so looking forward to continuing on with that. I haven't made it any further with my ebook, which is When a Scot Ties the Knot by Tessa Dare. I've kind of put that to one side when I've been reading these Sarah Morgan books, and because I spoke about last week that I wasn't as enjoying it as much as the other Tessa Dare books that I've read, so I think that's another reason why I've kind of put it to the side for now, but I will pick that up again. I'm also haven't listened to any more of Smoke Gets in Your Eyes by Caitlin Doherty, because I've been continuing on with the audiobook for Life After Life by Kate Atkinson. I'm about 8 hours into this, or seven and a half hours into it, something like that, so I'm pretty much halfway through now. I listened to another hour or so of it this morning when I was doing some knitting and putting the Christmas tree up as well, which was nice. I'm actually really enjoying this. So I explained last week that this was a book that I didn't really enjoy the first time that I read it, and in fact I put it on a list about 7 books that, you know, I didn't like that everyone else did. But I think now that I'm listening to it again, I think that it's been the case that it was the wrong time for me to read that particular book. So I said last week that I picked it up on holiday. I'd read everything else that I'd brought with me, and I didn't bring my Kindle with me. So there happened to be a shop nearby that I was in Corfu at the time, and it had like a few different books, and this was one of them. This was the only one that kind of semi-appealed to me. So I started reading it at the end of the holiday, and I was still reading it for about 3 weeks when I got back. Yeah, and so it was kind of like one of those books where you're not really that invested in reading it. It was like a second choice sort of thing. So yeah, but I'm really enjoying it. I've forgotten an awful lot of what happened in the story, so I'm enjoying kind of learning what happened to the characters, but I just think it's so clever the way it's been weaved together, and I really like the commentary in here on marriage and what was expected of women at the time. So this is kind of set between the beginning or just before the First World War, I think, and just after, and at the moment we're kind of at the start of the Second World War, I think, or something like that. But it's kind of jumping back and forth in time. So it's got a lot of commentary in there on kind of what was expected of women at the time, and women trying to break free of that, and It's got some commentary on there on domestic abuse and yeah, just like family life at the time and things like that, and kind of obviously life against the backdrop of the two world wars. And yeah, I'm really enjoying it. So I don't know, perhaps it's the fact that it's on audio as well that I'm quite enjoying. I enjoy the narration on it. Maybe it wasn't a book for me in print form, but yeah, really into it at the moment actually. So I'm hoping to finish that over the next week or so. I might have finished it by the time I update you next. We'll kind of see with that one. And then the last thing that I am planning on starting this week is Becoming by Michelle Obama. I hauled this on my channel at some point last week. I think it was one of my Vlogmas videos, but there we go. And I kind of decided that I'm so excited about reading it that I should just do it. So Rincey from Rincey Reads put a review up on her channel a couple of days ago, and I haven't watched it yet because, yeah, I don't want to get into any spoilers or anything like that, but I know she's going to be really articulate when she's talking about it, so I've kind of put that on my watch later list. But I'm really looking forward to getting into this. This is just over 400 pages, about 420 pages. But it's hardback, so it's bigger print and stuff like that. So it'll take me a while to read. I'm not going to finish it by next week or anything like that. But I'm really looking forward to getting into it. And I'll let you guys know what I think. So there we go, guys. That is an update on all the stuff that I have read this week and what I'm planning on continuing on with next week. I'd love to have a chat with you in the comments below. What are you reading at the moment and enjoying? Have you read any of the books that I've talked about today? Thanks very much for watching, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye.